Thank you so much for being here, Carrie Allen. This is Mom Life Unfiltered, and we are so happy to have you.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here as well. Thank you for having me.
Love it. Love it. Carrie Allen is an entrepreneur, community builder, and most importantly, a mom. So we are just really happy that you took the time out to chat with us and to dive deep, get a little unfiltered.
Yeah.
So,
yay.
Yeah. Tell us, how has your work with Human Array, how has that kind of shaped where you are today? Like, it's really impactful and meaningful work that you're doing with Human Array. And I just want to know, like, set the tone for us. How did you get into that work?
Yeah. Thank you. It does feel really meaningful to me, mostly because it's kind of my life. The reason that I called it the Human Array is I really had this moment of clarity for me that as a mom trying to take care of my new second child, I play so many different roles. I am a mom, I am a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I'm, all these different roles. And I was just in trying to shift between each of those, really recognizing how incredibly challenging it is to just be one person, right? But I'm really not one person. I'm all these different people. And so I think in, having that clarity for myself and then starting to do my own work personally to better understand what roles I do want to play and what roles were perhaps given to me or given me more rules around how to play those roles, I started to kind of unpack that. And so that's where the Human Array comes from, is truly my own experience, my own journey, and my own desire to find the support and the systems and the knowledge and the wisdom truly to support myself and my family overall.
I love that. How does the work kind of play into motherhood? Like, because I'm sure it's intertwined. I'm sure that you doing the work that you're doing for Human Array also, like, not only does it benefit you, but I'm sure that it coincides with motherhood. And I'm sure that they intersect. There's an intersection somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think most moms can really recognize that as soon as you become a mom, everything intersects with parenthood.
There we go. Yep.
Right? I mean, our kids are our greatest reflection of all the work that we want to do or need to do. I don't know what sometimes it's a stronger word, but they're my greatest catalysts. They really push me to be a better person. And I mean, I have that internal drive in myself always. I'm always looking for how can I be a little bit better, a little bit more, a little bit this, a little bit that. And my kids really amplified a lot of that for me to say, wait a minute, I don't want to be that kind of mom, or I don't want to feel like this, or I don't want to feel beholden, or whatever those different things are. And so I sought outside resources, outside support, all the books, all the podcasts, all the things to really learn how to support myself, but more importantly, so that I could be better for them, so that they could internalize and have a better kind of foundation for themselves. So at the end of the day, the Human Array is all about supporting the next generations, right? What's coming, what's in the future, et cetera. And we have to do our own work today in order to get there. And I think as becoming a parent and stepping into seeing those things start to build for each of them is like, oh, I have real influence here, and I have to change a little bit of myself in order to support them the way I really want to.
How old are your kids?
I have a son who's 7 and a daughter who's 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're still pretty young. And maybe this is just me, but I have conversations with some of my mom friends. It's like, I've already done so many things wrong in their first 5 to 7 years of life.
And then
I wish I would have known.
And then some Instagram reel pops up hey, the most important years of their life where they're
The formative years.
exactly. It's
0 to 3, and I'm like,
0
oh,
to 6, and I'm like, all right,
Right.
well, I guess my train or my kid's train has left the station. Like, too late.
exactly.
Bummer.
I know. Oh, I missed that one. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are so many things. Like as I've moved through more holistic health, more understanding of the nervous system, of all these different things, I'm like, oh, I should have. I wish I would have known. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm a silver lining sort of person. I can't help it, but I have to like take a moment for myself and say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm just getting to this knowledge at 43. You know, I think they're going to be in a pretty freaking awesome place because they're getting this knowledge at 5 and 7 or 10 and 12 or whatever that number is, right? Like, let's give ourselves a little grace. And also, like, again, maybe this is silver lining, but they need resiliency. Like, I can't bubble wrap them.
Right.
If I do, how are they going to deal with anything if I'm not there?
So is there such thing as bubble wrapping? Like,
I'm so glad you say that because it's like so easy to, tell yourself what you're doing wrong. But like, when do you ever tell yourself, hey, this is actually a great thing? And it's funny because when we catch our kids telling themselves, I'm so bad at this, or, we always tell them, hey, like do this or that's, why don't you tell yourself like you're great at this or great at that? But I mean, I do it myself too, like every single day. So it's just like, I feel like it's just this spiral cycle that our society is just in. Just constantly listen to what's bad and what you're doing wrong, unfortunately. Just
comparison and competition, right? Of like, should know better.
And I mean, let's be honest, there's like every kid will grow up with something. Like some sort of stuff they will have to work on when they're adults. And
right.
Yeah. I think I often say like, well, one, I think I personally believe that we all kind of choose to come in a certain way and experience certain things. And I can't stop them from experiencing that. Right. And I can't protect them from it. They're here to experience that. And in my own life, recognizing how many times adversity actually pushed me into something new and positive. And so if it's easy, why are we doing it? Not that I want it to be hard. And at the same time, I think the difference that I really find a lot of peace in is instead of me having it all perfect and doing it all right, because that's also a problem, is me saying, you know what, I will support you. Like, get the support you want. Like, I didn't do it perfectly. Absolutely. You should see a therapist or get a coach or whoever that is, right? Like that to me is the difference. Is I'm undoubtedly going to cause some form of little t trauma in your life. Like I can't not. So, but I'm here to support you with whatever that is and to hear it. And I think that that's a big difference between perhaps the generation before us. Yeah.
I mean, also like if I think about, I had a tumultuous childhood, but I wouldn't trade it now. Saying that maybe when I was a teenager or even in my 20s, I was like, I can't believe I went through it. I have so much trauma, but it's actually made me the woman that I am today, going through the things that I went through and being able to have a tough skin for this world because you do need it. Yeah. And so it's like my mother didn't know it, but she equipped me
Yeah.
For the apocalypse. Like, she's equipped me. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't know, but she's really equipped me. So it's one of those things where it's like, parents, moms specifically, are like, I should have done this. I should, all the should haves. It's kind of like shitting on yourself. The shoulds are like the shits, right? How do you move through that and go, I should stop shoulding on myself? Like, do you have moments like that where you're like, I've just done too many shoulds this week?
Oh yeah.
And let me just find a way to look at the fact that my children actually have a pretty amazing life.
Yeah. I mean, I think it can be very easy to spiral into that. I think a lot of the work that I've done personally is to help me catch myself before I spiral too far. And so really a lot of grace for myself that like, oh, okay, I caught myself. That's a lot sooner than I've ever caught myself before. And there's a specific memory that's popping in for me. My oldest is a boy, and he's an amazing kid. I adore him so much, and he's taught me so much, truly, in how he sees and experiences the world from a very sensory, necessary perspective, and just boy energy to a big extent, right? So there's all that, like, collectively in the world that, like, we try to make boys not be boys. So one, me learning that, but also he's a very sensitive boy. He's, for those that do astrology, he's a Cancer. And so he's got a lot of emotions too. And so I remember having a moment with him when he was probably 3, sitting down on the steps with him and saying to him, these are emotions. And dude, I don't know how to do these emotions either, but we're going to learn it together. Right. And he probably has no recollection of that, but I can see myself on those stairs because it was this moment of realizing I had no idea how to handle emotions. And here he was kind of looking for me to make him feel safe and feel okay. And so I think when you say that about kind of letting go of the shoulds, allowing yourself to continue having your journey at the same time as them, kind of steps away from those shoulds, right? So, okay, this is coming up for him. I'm going to learn through this moment at the same time too, rather than thinking that I have to have it all done for them.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's, the most important, probably being vulnerable and open with your kids. Like, I don't have all the answers. So let's, somehow figure it out together.
Yeah.
Which in my motherhood helped me the most. But it's so hard to access that vulnerability when you're overwhelmed. Yeah. At least me, like, it's so hard. Only in my best moments I can access that. Like this morning, I dropped off, my daughter is going through some serious anxiety, and it's like when she goes to school, she doesn't want to go to school. She just wants to stay with me or with her dad. And she's really scared that we would forget to pick her up. And it doesn't matter how many times we tell her, you're going to get picked up. I'm going to set an alarm. Like, let's set an alarm together on the phone so that I'm reminded to pick you up. No matter, it doesn't matter how many times. It's like, it's in her head that she will be forgotten. And I knew that I had to drop her off and leave to go to work. And I got so impatient, and I was aware of that. I'm like, I told myself, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, but I couldn't access that part of me. Yeah. Like, I was just like, I'm either going to go inside, I'm going to get a teacher to get you out of the car because she wouldn't get out of the car, or, put her in the position of deciding, either I'm going to get a teacher or you're going to get out of yourself. And it just made it all worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew that I was doing it so wrong.
but you can't get to, I can't get past it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, is it wrong though? This is what I brought up. Like, if someone says something to me that's like blunt and direct, and I don't take it anyway. Like I'm kind of built for it. You get what I'm saying? Because like my mom built me for it. Right. So like when people say stuff to me and come at me in a rude way or disrespectful way, I'm able to like go, that's their stuff. And like, it has nothing to do with me and it's okay. And also get fiery back if I want to, you know what I mean? So that's the interesting thing. Like, is it wrong that you had a moment of being impatient and you couldn't access the other Corinna?
That it was wrong because she was like, Dad is doing a much better job at this. Like,
that's the best.
Okay.
You can support me much better.
Okay.
I don't want you to drop me off anymore. I want Dad to do it. And so we called Dad, and he was able to calm her down over the phone, and I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what?
But you know, I mean, it happened the other way around too before. So
yeah,
I guess that's why you're parenting together, right? Like,
yeah. I will say that has been a huge part of like the last several years of us with the kids, like moving through all these different things, and like my own work is me actually working to heal so many things so that we can actually co-parent. Right. Because I think some of the like things that I've studied and really have resonated deeply with me is like this wounded masculine, wounded feminine, and how like when the wounded feminine is like holding on, the divine masculine can't come in, and vice versa for the female, right? And so there's so many things that I have literally had to let go to say it's actually not mine to like be or do. And this is certainly different, but this came up for me actually last night. My daughter was feeling big feelings about she can't do anything right. I don't remember what she was doing. It was something it was her advent calendar. She opened too many days. And so then she like spiraled into, I can't do anything right. I'm so bad at everything. She's 5. So first of all, whoa, like that's not okay. And then I was like, you tried to do all the things. I felt like I was doing a good job. And she's like, I just need Dad. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I remembered as she went in and he just said, he just held her. That's actually their job, is to allow us as women to just have the emotions and process and feel everything. And they just hold the safe space for us. And so it was this moment of, oh, right, that's actually not mine to do. It's his to do with and for her and for me too, right? And lots more opportunities and practice to be done here. And like, it was a hard moment for me to feel like I couldn't be the one to help her, because I think as moms we're told, and it's been like reinforced over and over, right? You have to do it all. You have to be the safe space. You have to do this. You have to be home. You have to be working. You have to be an example. You have to be nurturing. You have to be soft. You have to be hard. You have to be everything. And it was just this moment of, right, like, oh, my heart's breaking because I'm not that for her. And at the same time, oh my God, I'm so glad that she saw this moment and said, I know what I need. I need him to just hold the safe space for me and allow me to process that emotion. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's very layered.
Yeah.
I mean,
sorry,
like,
really
no,
deep, but...
no, it's good. No, it's great that you're going deep, because one of the things that you touched on that we have masculine and feminine energies in us as women, as men. And I have found that I personally deal with toxic masculinity in myself. Like my masculine energy can come off as what I see in the patriarchy, Like I've seen remnants of it in me that I've inherited. And then that's like how I've like gone through business, like being an entrepreneur, not thinking that I need to be soft in business, that I need to be cutthroat, that I don't need to come in with any tenderness, right? That I have to be a very specific way if I go into the space of business. But then sometimes, how do you shut that off, right? When you're exiting out of business mode. And as a woman, as a mom, I'm sure it's kind of hard to shut that off and then go into being tender, connecting with your partner, and being in that space of like, okay, there's softness now. Like the bridge between that, we have so many different identities that we're carrying and roles and responsibilities and ways that we feel like we need to be in order to survive or thrive, especially as entrepreneurs. And then when it comes time to like being at home where you need to shut it off, it's kind of hard to shut it off because you've been operating on that like day to day, all day. You know what I mean? So how do both of you navigate between like, okay, entrepreneur, mom, you know, friend, partner? Like I'm thinking about like how I can just be very dominant in my partnership because I'm still like in entrepreneur world. You know what I mean? And I haven't cut certain things off at home because when you are an entrepreneur, your mind is still, you're still going. You're still thinking about work. You're still thinking about all the things you need to do. You're still going and going and going. And it's like, how do you cut off? How are you finding a way to actually do that? Or is that still present at home?
I actually have yesterday I called a friend. I haven't talked with her in like 3 years. She's in Colorado. Hi, Alex. So she has two older kids, and I think they're 12 and 9 or something. And they just had a third baby. And I didn't know that she was even pregnant. So, you know, I called her yesterday and she's like, so what about you guys? Are you going to have a third child? And I'm like, no, like I have a third child, which is my business. And the thing is that never gets out of that newborn stage, you know, it just, which is obviously the most exhausting. Like it never grows old. It just like that's when I realized, oh my God, this is what an entrepreneur, like that's what it means, you know, like that's how it is. You have a third child or a child that doesn't grow out of the newborn stage. Like it's you have sleepless nights. It needs care all the time. You know, like you cry a lot, you know, like you go through like all of these emotions. It's like, it's crazy. So, so actually, and now that I'm realizing, because both of my kids were always like mom kids. I don't know. Is that a term in English? In German it is. Is that mom and dad kids? So they both are both mom kids. But now I'm realizing with my daughter needing Ben so much, I'm like, maybe she's turning into a dad kid. And you know, because Carrie, you said your heart kind of like breaks, but I was feeling really excited about it. I don't mean that in a bad way, like, but also for him too, to experience that. And I was like, instead of telling myself, oh, you screwed up and you can't be there for her, I actually told myself, hey, this is a great opportunity for her and for Ben. And it's taking a huge load off of my shoulder too. So,
Yeah. I read something recently that was talking about how, and it was talking about boys and specifically, but I think it's probably true across the board that, you know, moms are most important from 0 to 6, and then from 6 to 12 or so, it's more the dads. And then from there, it's peers where they're getting their kind of like influence from. And so it doesn't mean most important, but it's like where they're getting their influence from shifts, right? And so it was kind of a load for me too, to say, oh, it is good that my son and my husband are having a deeper relationship, that they're going and they're doing boy things and he's teaching him all these things so that he kind of has that from dad before he starts to get it from his peers. And I think probably similarly for my daughter in a different way, but that makes sense. Yeah. I think in general, what you're saying too, just in allowing the load to shift at whatever age that is, no matter what gender, feels really good. I think from my personal, my growing up experience, that never happened. And so I think it was modeled for me that it was always to be me forever and always. And so it is a little bit more challenging for me to let go at each of those moments. And it's really important at the same time. And so I'm like really working on it, you know, and my husband's saying, yeah, I got it too, you know, and they're my kids too. I'm like, I know. Yes. Right. And that's been really, really challenging for me. This is also my third kid. And that it was like, I always wanted 3 kids. I always wanted all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, and this is it.
Yeah.
We also just got a puppy, which is also another.
That's a child. That's a child as well. Yeah.
When I think about like being an entrepreneur, and part of what I really, really hope to learn and to embody and to model for both my kids and others in this entrepreneurial journey is it being interwoven. Because I think so often we do try to shift from this to that. And whether that's, you know, being from wife to mother to daughter or whatever that role shift and changes, there is a transition as you move between the two. And I think as women, we have the opportunity to really set a good example using the feminine to flow through those a little bit more naturally rather than nope, it's not this. And for me, that looks like actually healing a ton of the masculine, as you were talking about within me, to recognize that whether it's like toxic masculinity that's coming through me or whether it's supportive masculinity, because structure is amazing. We need structure, right? And then in my relationship, like who's holding what pieces and what parts of that, and truly being able to step into kind of more of my role in kind of the softness, if you will, or the flow and that part of it. But I think from moving from business to day-to-day life, I really, really, really worked really hard to want the whole thing to flow and be life rather than feeling like I moved from this to that. And this has been several years in the making. And I'm sure there are so many more hurdles and obstacles to overcome in the future as things continue to grow and change. But I had a moment where I was dropping off my son and my daughter, and my daughter's like, I don't want to go to school. I want to stay with you. Why can't the mommies be the teachers? And blah, 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 blah. And just like ripping out my heart, right? Like throwing it on the floor. And I'm just like, and then I was like, well, I have to go to a meeting. I have to, right? It was all the have to, And then I had a moment where I was like, you know what? No, I get to go to this meeting. I'm actually really excited about what I'm doing, and whatever this thing is that I have to go to, I get to do it. And I get to be an entrepreneur, and I get to birth another child into the world. And I get to do all these things that literally light me up, and realizing that by showing more of that to my kids and bringing them into it is showing them I'm following my passion. I'm following what lights me up and what brings me joy in the world. And it doesn't have to be the same for them. And I can change that perspective for them by showing them that I do this because I'm excited about it, right? Like I had a call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do bedtime with them a certain night of the month because we do this call in the evenings. And why, right? And I'm like, I'm excited for this. This is a happy moment for mom. Yes, I'm sad. I can hold two things at once, and really trying to show them that in that real world experience feels really good to me. And they actually respond really well to that. And I think that's important. Like there's all these little micro moments that I feel like I can share me and my passion with them and what I do, and help them kind of cultivate that in themselves to be able to follow their own. So I'm trying to lean less into the shift from this to that, and instead flow it all together. And that is not easy. And it is, a reconstruction of this whole world that we exist in for sure. But it feels really good as we continue to make progress towards that.
That's very powerful, I think. Just to see a different perspective.
Yeah.
Like you're so right. I get to do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm choosing to do this.
And it doesn't mean I'm choosing this over them. Like that was a thing that I had to do in my head and still have to do, right? Like I'm not choosing to do this meeting over them. Mm-hmm. And actually that then felt like more expansive to me. That I have, look at all the things I get to do every single day. I get to have dinner with my family. They are in a great place with my husband. They get to do double bedtime with dad, who doesn't love double bedtimes. And I get to go have these amazing conversations. Like, can we actually see it instead of restrictive as expansive in that way? And so, but that's been a lot of work in my own head to be able to let go and to also not see it as I am choosing between the two.
Yeah. And I think you kind of like have to rewire yourself, because just, I have to do this. It's like, so you're so used to saying this and telling your kids this. It's so hard to get out of that. Mm-hmm. And just really like rewiring yourself.
Yeah.
And use different language.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's such a underestimated, powerful tool, right? Just changing one or two words and how we talk about something, how we frame something. And then it has ripple effects into like, they don't want to go to school. Well, what do you get to do today? Right. And my son had a hard day, or a challenging morning on Saturday. And he's like, oh, well, today's a bad day. It's not a good day. And I was like, we all have not so great days, but it's also noon. So you get to choose whether it's actually going to be a bad day or you're going to change it right now because you got the rest of the day to change into a different perspective.
Right.
So that's rewiring. You're right. And like, it is a big job to rewire that. It's everywhere.
I wanted to ask, like, motherhood is sometimes like romanticized, right? But what's something about motherhood that took you by surprise? Nice ding.
I know. That was well placed and well timed. I like it. I wish the thought.
Where is the
turn it off? How can I turn this off? I don't know.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect, Corinna. Ding.
I guess the big thing for me that took me by surprise, it's one of those where it's like, should it have? Maybe it shouldn't have. And it's like the opposite and the same at the same time. One, I was shocked at the number of people that were so supportive and nice to me because I was a mom. Like going to the doctor's office. I know. Well, I'm going to say the opposite in a second. Like I remember going to the pediatrician and then just being like, it's okay. Just sit, feed the baby. We'll help you with this. And I was like, why is everybody being so nice to me? It was like I had people help me on a plane. It was this really beautiful moment of seeing people almost kind of want to support and help you. And at the same time, feeling like I didn't actually have the infrastructure needed to support me as a mom. And that I had to build it all on my own. And so for me, it was this, it is still, and I hope to be a part of this change for us as a society, is this juxtaposition of, we see motherhood as this amazing thing. And we're like, oh, you're a mom, here, let me help. Oh, I'm in the grocery store, like I'll pick up the toy, or let me hold the baby on the airplane. Like all this really, I want to call it peripheral and superficial support. That was surprising to me. First of all, why aren't we just nice to each other as humans? First of all. Second of all, like, and then to also feel like that was there, and yet it was this extreme weight on me to figure it all out all by myself, to learn how to make the food, to learn how, like, it was just this extreme weight of, wait a minute, there is literally no one. It felt like I couldn't give anything to anybody. And whether that was, I'm sure some of it me, some of it my circumstance, whatever that is, it's just this kind of interesting juxtaposition to me. So I think that that's really indicative of where we are as a society at this moment, that we don't have the community anymore. We don't have all the moms and the aunts and the grandmothers all come in and like actually allow the mother to be the mother. I read something that was talking about how it's so jarring coming into motherhood, because you actually have to step fully into what society is asking you to be, masculine, at a time when we are intentionally meant to be extremely feminine. And I think that's partially because we have what I call communities of isolation. We've built all these systems and structures to help us, daycare, this, that, right? Like all these different systems and things. But the problem is we're so disconnected from the value of why. It's like, well, we created all these things, structure for structure's sake, right? More daycares, more access, more of this, more whatever. It's like, yeah, but all I really want is for somebody to come in and like take care of us and take care of me. And this really raw moment where all I really want to do is just sit with my baby, but I can't, because I'm told I have to learn how to feed them. I have to go to this doctor. I have to go to that doctor. I have to learn these stages and these steps and what's coming next and all these different pieces and parts. And so that's what I would say is, was most shocking to me, I guess.
Wow. Corinna, do you resonate with that? Is that something that like...
Definitely. My answer would be a little different. I mean, just how much, like what I was actually surprised of, that would be different. I'm agreeing with everything you said. And I think, again, it's like super powerful stuff you're saying. For me, I think it was mostly because I was like one of the first friends who had babies, and I actually had no idea what I was, would be getting into. Just how much you actually have to give up, like how much you actually have to give up yourself. And, some people choose to give up a lot and some people don't. I'm just a more like all or nothing kind of person. And sometimes I wish it wouldn't be that much that I'm actually like giving them. I don't know if that makes sense or if that sounds super mean, but it's like,
no, it makes sense.
And giving myself up for them.
Yeah.
Which is also not a very good role model, right? I mean, now that I think about it, it's like, what do I teach my kids? Actually? That's not good.
Yeah.
So I think that's, the most surprising part. I just wasn't aware like what it actually means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really I think when you say that, I think about, I was working for somebody else at the time. I was not an entrepreneur when I had kids, and you're going to have this baby. This is so exciting. This is so exciting. And it's like, you leave and you come right back to the exact same life, but you don't come back to the same life.
No.
Like, this is a whole new life. And it's, you know, you could see it as, you know, all the things I'm giving up and all the things I'm getting and changing, right? So it's like this metamorphosis that happens for women at this moment. And we see it because the world doesn't embrace it that way. We no longer have the ritual of becoming a mother and like actually supporting you as an individual in your new birth, right? Like your rebirth.
Exactly.
And so then it's like, wait, 2 days ago, before I had this baby, I was that person and I had this job and I was doing these things and I felt really good. And now I don't know who I am or what's happened. And I can't quite go back there. I don't want to leave it all, but how do I bring what I want forward? And how do I also incorporate all this new that feels really good and exciting? Like, that's just, we don't do that well.
Corinna and Carrie, you bring up some interesting points because like, you're like, I'm losing myself for my children, right? Which a lot of moms, I'm sure, can relate to that.
Yeah.
I think most moms do.
Absolutely.
And I wonder, you know, there isn't anything currently in our society that's like, you're going to have a death. The death is going to be you. There isn't room or discussion around grieving that portion of yourself that you left behind. And then, like, is there space to find yourself and figure out who you are in time to step into this new identity?
Right.
Like, do moms find that, like, you created basically a disconnect that was huge that had to happen because you now have children, right? But then where is the reconnect? Does it happen?
And I think, honestly, this would automatically happen if we would have a system in place, what Carrie Allen talked about. The aunts, the moms and the grandmoms and the friends and everyone. I think that would probably automatically happen if a system like that would be in place. So
right. Like, I think about, and you can get to kind of the way we structure these things, but in other countries that have a year off, at least, I think the grieving part is really, really important in this. Like, that is not talked about, nor is there anywhere that you're holding space for that process, right? And I think I would love if the aunts, the grandmoms, all those could support us. I don't think they know how right now. They don't know how to hold that space for us to grieve either, because I don't think that they were allowed really that. You'd have to go back a couple of generations before I think any of that is more natural to at least hold the space for this metamorphosis that's happening, right? And so, say what you will about the millennials, but we're just doing all the things. So here we are, like, okay, this is how I think about it every single day. Like, how am I going to support my daughter? Like, when I experience people coming over and helping me or doing different things, what did I actually want that I couldn't speak up for? What would I have liked to have been, what did I notice in those times of, what would have been really nice is just the person to do all the other things for me, not just keep taking the baby away from me. Like, no, I want to hold the baby. Why can't I hold the baby? But it's like, oh, let me hold the baby so you can. No. I really want to hold the baby. Like, go do the dishes or the laundry or clean the bathroom. All the things that like I don't want to be doing right now. Anyway, so I just bring that forward because we don't have it today. And all of us, it kind of comes back to that same thing of doing our work for them in a lot of ways of, okay, well, here's my moment to really bring a lot of awareness to what I'm experiencing in this moment so that when I am the grandmother, I can hold a different space for my daughter. And I can't do everything, but I can bring a lot of awareness and shifts and changes in how I do things in the future, even if it's not the could have, should have's now, right? Like, so we think about that zero, it kind of comes back full circle to that 0 to 3. Do I wish I'd had that support so I could have done whatever it was for them? No, I can't go back, but I can go forward and say, and I learned a lot. And I'm going to help support you experience it differently.
I like that. I mean, no, I'm not hearing this conversation around like, so I just want to let you know, you're going to experience a big death. There's a birth that's happening, but you're going to experience a big death within yourself. Mm-hmm. These are the things I can do to support you. These are the things that you might feel. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Mm-hmm. We've all been through it. You know, I don't know if those conversations are being had at critical mass, you know, for women.
Definitely
around the world.
Yeah.
Maybe in some cultures that is happening. But I think Western, I don't know if it's a conversation.
Not yet.
So
hopefully soon.
Well, this is going to go out and it's going to hit mass.
There you go.
Right. The masses are going to be like, these are conversations we need to be having. Yeah. To switch gears a bit, if you had a completely free day, no obligations, no limits, you're already laughing. What would you do? How would you spend it?
I'm laughing because this kind of comes up around like Mother's Day or my birthday or whatever it is, usually Mother's Day. And I just want to be in my house by myself. It's like I never get to be in my house by myself. Like I'm always
just doing nothing.
Just doing whatever I want. Maybe that's reading a book or whatever it is. I don't want to go to the hotel. Like I don't want to be cast out of my house. I don't want to, whatever that is. I just want to be able to be in my house, do my thing. And I know that is not a common situation anymore, right? Like there's somebody always here or the kids go away and my husband's here and I love him, but also go away. I just want to be by myself. So mine's really boring.
No, that's actually great. So would you, in an ideal world, would you want for like your husband and the children to rent a hotel for the day, right? Couldn't that be great? I mean, shouldn't that be normalized? Yeah. Just go off. You get the hotel. Yeah. I'm going to be at the house. Yeah. Let me just have the house. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm going to up the ante. Yes, you're right. It feels like there's always has to be a reason why for me. Right. And it's like, not for me, for others, right? That like, oh, well, it's Mother's Day. So, okay, we'll leave you. Right. And it's like, can't it just be normal for dad to take the kids away for the weekend? Or do whatever it is, right? Like this feels like that, like back to that kind of balancing kind of aspect of it. It's like, oh, well, I have work, so I'm going to trap, right? Like there's always a reason why. And it's like, can't it just be, so that I can be, because I don't really ever get to be. There's always a reason for me. Either I'm doing this because I'm working, or I'm doing this because I'm taking care of the kids, or I'm doing this because I'm going to be away from the kids, or whatever those things are, or I've been away, so now I need to go take some time for myself. Like there's just always like, and I just really would love to incorporate a little bit more flow into being able to just be normal and natural. And at the same time, I say that soon I'll be in a house by myself and they'll be gone. That happens sooner than we expect. And so at the same time, I say that, but I don't want it very often because I know.
But they can still have a staycation somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Like maybe with a little water park in it. I don't know. But the kids would love it. They'll be like, yay. And then you'll have the house.
Right. And so that I don't have to orchestrate it. Like, I don't want to be the cruise director for a day.
Right. Love that. Love that. This is my final question, just for any moms listening, if they're stuck, uninspired, unsure, what's one piece of advice that you would share with them?
I'm big into transformation and all the steps that it takes to get there, because it's not a simple process, whether you're changing something small or something big. And stepping into motherhood is a huge transformation. And so my greatest piece of advice is just bringing awareness to that you're new into this, and whatever you're working on, give yourself some grace, because you're already doing it if you have the awareness of it, and you don't need to work harder or push harder, but you already have that awareness in you. It's that ripples out for you, for your kids, for your family. And so just show yourself a little bit of love and grace by knowing that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. We all need that reminder.
Yes.
All need it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just really, I don't think we give enough credit to awareness, right? We're always working on the thing. And honestly, just the first step of having the awareness that it's in us, or we want to do something differently, that's huge. That's a huge step to have that awareness. And so just by doing that, no, you already are. And so, I can't celebrate that enough. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for taking the time out to be with us, to share, to go deep.
Yeah. Thank you.
To be authentic and to just share your experience. We really appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for having me on and asking all these amazing questions and going deep. I really love bringing forward so many new parts of this and allowing people to hear the stories and the experience. So thank you for inviting me on.